Well, I'd like to share my experience, and that's when I was in my heavy drug use. I was diagnosed with, bipolar, depression, anxiety disorder, all that stuff. And seeing a psychiatrist seemed like a way to combat my addiction, because it was somebody to talk to, and maybe I could use drugs to fix me, and that's what I'd always done. That's what I had known. And a lot of people said, go to a psychiatrist. The thing that I came to find out is that a lot of psychiatrists don't have education in addiction. They're really not there, and they're not specialized in addiction. They're there simply to treat mental disorders and deal with mental health and to prescribe medication. So I went in there and I was prescribed stuff right off the bat because he had seen symptoms in me that related to depression, anxiety disorder, bipolar, all that stuff. But the problem was that I was using drugs like marijuana and ecstasy and LSD, and so it was really not clear what I had, if I had a mental disorder. I was definitely dealing with addiction, and it just ended up me abusing those prescription medications. One thing in particular was Klonopin, which is a benzodiazepine. Another is Xanax and Valium and all those. A lot of people abuse those medications. I had Klonopin, and I totally abused that without even realizing that I was still using drugs, because at the time I tried to get clean, but I had just substituted one addiction for another and just continued my drug use with Klonopin, a prescription medication. And eventually, by abusing that and taking all the other medications that I was being prescribed, I started to just lose my mind, and I said, I can't take it anymore, and I went out and smoked pot, and I was just back, and I just stopped taking the prescription medication, just went back to all the street drugs, because that's what I knew, and that's what I felt comfortable doing. But I just wanted to mention the prescription drugs because it's a gateway drug to all other drugs, and it in itself is a very powerful thing. A lot of people don't realize that they're taking the medications from their doctor, but these are drugs, and they can be abused heavily. I did some research. It said that 20% of Americans abuse prescription medications, or at least have abused prescription medications. So we're talking with about like 20 million people that have abused these prescription medications. And you see a lot of celebrities dying as a result of the use of prescription medication. It all started back in the day with Elvis, and we had Heath Ledger. I guess Amy Winehouse might have been one of those. Definitely Michael Jackson, and we don't know if Whitney Houston died as a result of prescription use at this point, but we know that the drugs were in her system when she died. So it's true, a lot of people die as a result of prescription use, and combining alcohol with it does not help. So my suggestion is, if you think that you do suffer from a mental disorder like bipolar disorder or depression or anxiety or any of that stuff, even ADHD, my suggestion is, if you're a drug user, say you smoke marijuana, just wait 6 months until that stuff is completely out of your system, then go and get a diagnosis. And that was suggested to me, and that's what worked for me. I waited 6 months till, you know, the drugs were out of my system. I went, got checked out at the doctor. It turns out I got mild depression, and I got on the medication, and that worked for me. So maybe it'll work for you.